whilst obviously studying the Astro effects course, I lost 15,900 in total. At one point, I lost all my student finance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. So I lost all my student finance doing double shifts at Sainsbury's.
We're back for another episode of the Words of Rizdom Podcast. Today, I am joined by a good friend of mine, Mr.
Meunier?
F. Banks. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
But Faizal, it's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
You know, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting conversation. But it's been great. Like, me and Faizal have been meaning to meet up for probably over a year.
Yeah.
But the podcast made it happen, so
100%.
I'm very, very happy. But why don't you tell us a bit about yourself to begin with?
So me, I started trading 2015. At this time I was at university, so being a student and trying to get into the Forex market wasn't the best of ideas because I haven't got a lot of funds. So I was limited fund. My funds were limited because of the fact that I was only using student loan and I used to work at Sainsbury's. So I put those two together. The dream of becoming a Forex trader was very far. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine called Angelo. He got me into Forex, and I swear to you, I used to spend every night about 3-4 hours watching YouTube clips and not knowing a single thing about what I'm watching. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did that for about a year, from 2015 to 16, just YouTubed. I lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. At one point, I lost all my student finance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. So I lost all my student finance doing double shifts at Sainsbury's. Killer. Missing uni days as well, just to obviously go and do extra shifts so I can start paying for my rent and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was hard, man. 2016. And then I started a breakfast business.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, I started a breakfast business at uni. So that was really, really good.
That did really well, didn't it?
That did really well because what I realized was I had everyone in my uni block on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can advertise to these lot that I can make breakfast every single morning and I can deliver it to you, all you got to do is pay me a $5. I was getting lists literally every single day on my DM messenger. It's called iMessenger, whatever it is. It used to be filled, man. Did that. That kind of gave me some stability. I didn't focus on Forex. I did it for a year.
How much did you make from that?
What, from that?
From the breakfast?
Talking about 5 figures.
Yeah,
man. Like, because I did it from 2016 all the way to 2019.
Yeah, I remember.
So when I left
uni.
Yeah, so when I left uni and I came to Astro, I had money saved from this business. Do you know what I mean? And even though when I was at Astro, I used to say to you, I'm always thinking about going back to it because I lived in Bournemouth and I moved from Bournemouth to come and live in London. So it was just kind of do I leave London and go back to Bournemouth just to run a breakfast club, or do I actually start my career and looking to do something with my degree? So that's what I was doing. And then in 2019, I met you, came to Astro.
Well, you came to Astro and then met me.
Yeah. I came to Astro and then I met you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was a crazy journey after that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Like, it was short with us being there together. Because I've always told this story, and I don't think I've told it on a podcast, but when I started, there was yourself, a guy called Ali, and I think there's one other person. I think it was just us 3 at the time,
Me, you, and then there was that other kid, Kareem.
Yeah. So he's still a Kryptonary.
Yeah, Kryptonary.
But he was a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he was a really...
It was me, you, and Ali, right? Started on the Astro side together.
Yeah.
And within 2 months, you were gone, right? Because I think you saw through it. I think
2 months. It was, I think it was a month and couple. Yeah, basically, I just couldn't believe. Obviously, when I first joined, my intentions was
probably same as me, right? Did you look up to them before you went?
Before I went, let me tell you the story. Before in 2017, I bought their course.
Yeah.
So when I bought the Astro course, I swear to you, I thought that's it. I'm gonna make it. I rang all my friends. I've just bought a Forex course. You guys literally give me about a year. All of you gonna quit your jobs. I'm gonna quit mine. We're gonna change our lives. Look at these guys on Instagram. They're driving Lambos and all sorts. And I want that. Do you know what I mean? And then I realized, after doing the course for about a year, I lost about 15 grand.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at my actual trading account yesterday. I had an account called with BDS Swiss at the time. In total from 2017 to 2019, I think it was, while I was obviously studying the Astro effects course, I lost 15,900 in total. And I was just like, I'm going to work for this company anyways because I look up to them. Yeah. But at the same time, at the moment, I'm not making any money. So obviously, if I'm going to go there, I'm going to be around Sean. I'm going to be around Nat. So if these guys are obviously what they say they are, I'm going to elevate. That was my mindset. So obviously, when I came there, I'm thinking, I'm at the den. Like, this is it for me. I met you. I met Kareem. I met, what's that guy that used to be a pharmacist? He used to work at the pharmacy. And he used to be big.
Anil, was it?
Yeah, he used to be into crypto, and everyone. Whenever I used to have my charts up, I used to always go around and ask people like, "Can you come? Can you help me? And what do you think of this?" And they used to all give me advice, and I used to take it home thinking I'm at a great spot. But then the time went by, and then I started getting in trouble for being on the charts. And I'm thinking, how does that make any sense? I'm here. I'm here as a Forex trader. Why am I getting in trouble for being on a chart and analyzing a pair? So that was Astro.
That was it, yeah, man.
That was Astro.
Honestly, it didn't get much better after you left, to be fair. It stayed the same. It was very, very quiet. And, there's always like these little red flags, like stuff like that. And I understood, obviously, there was a job to be done. That's why
I understood that as well. But it was just that
in the manner in which it was done, the focus was in the wrong place. You know what I mean? Because I remember, like you said, I remember you specifically saying that, like, you want to trade, but you also you want to help people.
I want to help people. Yeah.
The focus was more like just sell people.
Yeah.
And
because I used to get in trouble for being on the phone to people and explaining to them about the charts and talking about the charts. And I used to have someone, I don't want to say his name, but I used to have the guy that obviously was managing all of us, our operational manager, the devil. He used to come over to me, stop talking to him, and get the sell done. Yeah. And I'm thinking, how can I sell something to someone when they don't even know what they're buying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are they buying the content? Are they buying something that's going to help them elevate in their trading? Or are they just buying a market scheme that Astro's running and this is it? We're buying into the Astro dream.
That's it, man. And I think that's why I ended up doing well there, was because I focused on the helping bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I kept trying to explain to these guys, like, look, if we focus on helping people and giving value, sales wise, it sorts itself out because 100%. People want to join then, right?
100%.
But I just don't know, like they just didn't have that mindset. They just didn't care about that mindset, which is fair. Like, it's their business. It's up to them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, look what's happened afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
And, but yeah, man, I think that's the reason why, you know, things worked out for me there, was because I was doing that.
You was doing phenomenal. I'm not going to lie to you. I used to see your name on that board on top sales and you used to see mine at the bottom because my mentality wasn't to sell. My mentality was to come there and me change my life. Do you know what I mean? How can I help you if I'm not even helping myself?
No, 100%.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So
that's it. But like, the beauty was that I saw the trading that you were doing at the time as well. And I always knew. That's why we always stayed in touch anyway.
Yeah.
Even though we don't chat like every single day, but we always know it's like, it's love. And you know, when we message each other, it's like we spoke the day before, you know. And that's why I was excited to bring you on. Like, I remember I was thinking, like, who can I bring onto the podcast?
No, I appreciate it.
And I remember, you know, it'd always be good. Because I know that you've done teaching, but you've never like really tried to, you know, push it, if that makes sense. Like, you've just been trading and then people come and probably join. What are you doing at the moment?
So here, what we do at Prime Effects is just something very simple. Where if you want to learn, if you want to learn, I can teach you. It's not a problem. But if you just want to follow someone that can present good trades throughout the week and tell you why it's happening in the market, then obviously I'm the guy, and that's what people do. So they join me and they just follow my trade. So I'll post my trade, and I'll obviously add an explanation, break it down from a higher time frame to lower time frame, and then I'll post it from like Monday or Tuesday. And then it'll play out throughout the week. And then comes Friday, we focus on every single month a specific objective in the group. So for example, this month we're focusing on trade frequency and trying to bring it down. So if I can do it and I can show it to them and how to be profitable, you should all be able to replicate the same thing if you're trying to achieve the same goals. So that's my mindset, and that's what we do at Prime Effects, to just keep it very simple. And I just obviously help out those that throughout the day that message me, have one-to-ones. Some people, I do like afternoon Zoom calls and they all join just to see what it's like to be in live market environment and how to read price for exactly what it is. And that's something that a lot of people forget.
They do. And one thing I've always liked about your sort of style of teaching is like the no bullshit approach. Like you say it how it is, and you basically explain, like, if someone's like, let's say if you have someone and you've clearly explained what you're looking for, and then they've taken something else, and they say, oh, I took a loss here. You'll be the type where it's like, why'd you do that for?
Yeah.
What we're looking for. Basically just saying it how it is. So not harsh, but like a real method of teaching and mentorship, so that people can try to strip back those basic mistakes.
100%.
And I've always seen that, and it's always been it's always good to see, because it is a different style, but I think it's one that is probably needed more of, because it saves the otherwise if you reply to someone's sort of mistake as like, oh, it's okay, you learn it, kind of sugarcoat it, kind of like push, and it's never going to grow.
They're never going to learn.
Yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that the single moment that any one of us presses that buy or sell button, we lost the trade. That's the mentality you got to have.
Yeah.
There's no emotional attachment. You see me, I have a routine every single morning that it's weird as fuck. Sorry, I swore on the podcast, but it's really weird, but it works for me.
Well, you have to tell us now.
So basically what I do is, it's weird. So I wake up every morning, and I literally lock off all the blinds, make it dark, the room dark as it could be. I put on a 50 Cent song. It's called Hustle's Ambition.
Yeah.
And I just sit and I listen to the words. Do you know what I mean? And I get my mind mentally pumped. I get my mind to a state where there's no emotion. And throughout the day, I'm about to get myself out of this darkness. I'm priming myself. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I'm getting myself out of this darkness. And the only way I'm going to do that is by going onto this charts and having no emotional attachment and following my strategy. So once I have that, I listen to that song back once or twice. Once I get myself really pumped, I'll obviously open the blinds, get out of the room. And what I'll do is I'll go to my trading journal. And my journal, I'll read my strategy for the day.
Yeah.
Before I even look at the market, market's relevant to me right now. My right now objective is, can I mentally be detached from my emotions, but mentally prepared for what's about to occur?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not just jumping on.
Because some people some people wake up and the first thing they do is open their laptop without knowing what's going on. Yeah, some grab their phone. Exactly. So obviously, once I do that and I read my journal and I know exactly what I'm looking for based on what I've already written the day before.
Yeah.
And then I'll go through my strategy. Like, what am I looking for in the day? Am I looking for the market to run out of maybe a major liquidity point before I can look for a potential buy? And then once I've done my little reading, that's when I open the chart.
Yeah.
And when I open a chart, I'm already mentally prepared for this. So I already know what's happening before price even shows it to me, And then obviously I'll do my analysis and I'll look at price and I'll look at the time of day. If it's nothing's aligning, I'll go gym. And I'll come back and I'll repeat the same routine.
That's perfect.
Because I'm trying to get into a habit where everything I do is automatic. Do you know what I mean? Without thinking about it, without forcing myself to do it. And the reason for this is because if you look at the market is all about an algorithm. It has no emotion. It's numbers game. Focuses on 4 or 5 numbers a day. High, low of the day. Do you know what I'm saying? Equilibrium pricing of the day. And if we're looking at these prices, the market's going to get there regardless whether you buy it or I buy it or sell it or not. It doesn't matter. The market will get there. So if the market is doing this and it doesn't take into consideration anyone's buy position or anything, then why should I take into consideration any of my emotions when I'm trying to be a program? Because this is a program. And if I can wire it to a point where I can just be in an automatic beast mode, I'm going to do that.
Well, I love that. Like the priming. It's a real technique that people use in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah.
People use it in sales,
100%.
Yeah. But trading is no different. And I think that having that morning routine just generally, but having a priming technique can be very, very beneficial, because to have that mindset, as you say, that no emotions, it's not something you can just do 24/7, 7 days a week.
No.
Right? It's something that you could, by priming, you can have it select ready for specific times of day. Or, and the period might last for 60 minutes.
100%.
But it's only through repetition.
But it also depends on what type of trader you are. For me personally, and I explain this a lot to my members in the group. I say to them, as a person, are you the type of person that has the need or the urge to constantly trade? And if you are, that makes you a day trader. And if you are the type of person that's just more relaxed and can just look at the market and take a step back and say, today I'm not going to trade, and that type of person is a swing trader type of person. And what I do for these people is I create days of the week that they can trade.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because if you are a trend trader or a day trader, Tuesday to Wednesday should be your trading days, and that's it. If you're more of a swing trader, then you should be looking to catch either the high or the low of the week, which is formed by Wednesday to Thursday New York time. And if you can hold those trades to going into the following week, you should be looking to exit those trades by Monday London close or Tuesday London open. Having this little bit of understanding
specific
set of rules will not only help you, but it will just show you the progression that you can make.
Yeah.
And once you see the progression, you become addicted to the progression.
Oh yeah.
And that's when you become, you start to improve yourself.
And you start to enjoy it, because you're seeing results. And the results doesn't mean like you've gone from 0 to 100, but
100%.
You're just going from 1 to 2 to 3, just growing steadily. And, you can only really get to that point when you've consistently done it for, they say like if you go gym, you won't see results for 6 weeks,
That's
6 to 8 weeks. The people around you won't see the results for 12 weeks, and then everyone else won't see it for 16 weeks. It's a similar aspect with anything that you're working towards. So even with trading, you need to do that 6 to 8 weeks of work to even first see that first sign of, okay, is this working or not?
Yeah.
And then once you're starting to see it, then you begin to trust and have more confidence that you're doing the right steps. But a lot of people don't even get to that period. They kind of keep changing things after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And it's not giving enough time to see something.
I don't blame anyone.
No, I don't blame anyone.
Do you know why? Because I was like that.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I did system hopping. Obviously, throughout since 2015 when I really started. And it's like 7 years now I'm into this. And throughout that whole 7 year, I've had different mentors. I've studied on YouTube. I've had so many things that for myself that was confusing me. And every single time I felt like I was making a progression, I would get confused with my own analysis. And that could throw me back 3-4 steps.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. And it's only been last 18 months, I'd say, personally, that I myself started to master my own system. Past 18 months. Prior to that, I've had winning days, winning weeks, losing weeks. And that's because of the fact that I couldn't filter all the information I know.
You knew, yeah.
So knowing too much is a curse, and people don't realize that. Yeah. So sometimes when I'm in front of the market and I'm about to take a trade, there's so many things going through my mind and it conflicts one another, and it could result in me just literally panicking and not even taking a trade. And yet the analysis works out. Yeah. And that's why when I prime now, and obviously when I'm on top of my analysis and I'm doing my journal and I'm reading my strategy that I have now mastered for 18 months, it's like every single week, you see it on my reels and stuff, every single week I'll maybe lose 1 or 2 trades, but majority of my trades are winning trades. And it's because of the fact that my process is now becoming like
systematic.
Yeah, systematic. It's like it's a mechanism. End of the day, we're creating a program to help us, give us an edge in this market, and your system should be able to do that.
Like if you write an algo to trade the market,
that's
you're
it.
Essentially just writing the code for yourself.
That's it.
You're writing the code for your own trading personally that you will then execute on.
That's exactly.
The thing I've always loved about you is that you've traded. Well, first of all, you were the first person who like opened my eyes to the market structure. Like I obviously learned structure at the beginning, but then I remember when you came around to my house that time.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about high highs, high lows, the structure, and I was just like,
I
remember I was like, this guy, he's a genius.
Nah, honestly.
And then, but then I remember we went through like Ritz course.
Yeah.
And then I remember obviously at the beginning, as we always do, and anyone who learns that style is using the small stop losses.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I know that you don't really necessarily use small stop losses now.
No.
But I love that, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear, maybe why is that, and also like, what is it that made you choose to trade the style that you're trading now, or the way you're trading now?
So what I do is I used to use a 10 pip stop, and now I don't use a 10 pip stop, and nor do I use a large 30 pip stop. But what I use is, depending on the market condition and depending on the time of day that I am trading, I need to look at the range. I need to be realistic, and sometimes the range could be anywhere between 15 pips, 10 pips, maybe 20 pips. And when I'm trading these stop losses, I reduce my lot size because I'm only risking 1%. So if I'm risking 1% and I'm comfortable trading with a 10 pip stop loss, that's fine. But if I'm now using a 20 pip stop loss, I'm not going to be an idiot and put my 1% at risk. I'll knock it down to maybe 0.5, maybe 0.25. But I know that the analysis is going to play out. So for me, it's just allowing the market to do its thing and obviously letting my directional bias play out. Yeah. And sometimes, especially Forex market, and in this condition that we are in, and this time, obviously what's going on in the world, if you look at the Forex market, it isn't trading as it used to. So if it isn't trading as it used to, then something has to change within your analysis to accommodate in the conditions. Yeah. And that's what I've done. Previously, about 2 years ago, a year ago, 10 pip stop would be happy days because the liquid in the market was quite high and the volume was quite high. At this moment in time, trading worldwide isn't happening as it used to. Look at what's happening to the pound. Look what's happening to the euro. Do you know, we're back to 1.01, I think it was on the euro, and this week. And for the next upcoming week, there will be some sort of a buying opportunity. There will be obviously a retracement for us to all obviously capitalize on, but it's not going to be as quick as it used to happen. Because what used to happen before is NFP Friday would have given you 100, 200 pip move. Now this week it's giving you a move less than 100 pips. The volume isn't there.
NFP change.
Volume isn't there. So if the volume isn't there, you got to change your stop loss. You know, give it room to play out. And I've noticed something with the pounds and the yens at the minute. If the market is just consolidating from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 times out of 10, Thursday overnight moves are occurring. So if these overnight moves are occurring, I need to be able to let the trade play out by giving it maybe a 20 pip stop, a 15 pip stop. And that gives it a room for me to just wake up in the morning and see profits.
Yeah, be stress-free.
Be stress-free.
Like, allow it to play out. Because I think a lot of people, they suffocate their trades.
That's it.
And then they take numerous losses.
I don't understand this whole
concept.
When
if they use that one, say 10 pip stop, they would have been fine.
But I just don't understand the whole concept of nowadays with smart money technique, 2 pip stops, 3 pip stop. It's ridiculous. Let's be realistic. These markets will spike you out. Your broker will spike you out. He knows that full well your stop loss is where you are placing it. And it's not realistic. Do you think these hedge funds, these central banks do any of this? No. Their pockets are deep. They don't even use a stop loss. We understand that. But with us, we need to be very realistic in this market condition. And for me at the moment, I'm also trying to trade indices. With indices as well, that requires a bit of a 30 pip, 40 pip stop losses. And you've got to basically give it room for the market to actually play out before you see a 500 pip, 600 pip moves. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been taking a more preserved step back from the market, and I've just allowed the market's conditions to dictate my directional bias rather than me dictating my directional bias and forcing trades and taking losses and affecting my psychological mind for what? For what? Why am I stressing myself out for?
That's
you know? So, like I said, reduce your trade frequency. That's the objective for the week.
100%.
For the month, actually.
It can, one high probable trade with, good risk management and good, understanding the story is enough.
That's it.
And no, I completely agree, because the reason I brought that up is because obviously I want people to hear about different styles, different techniques, because you're using a very similar viewpoint of the market. But you're just taking a different approach, and again, more importantly, as you said, you've mastered your approach.
That's it.
And I think that's very, very important. But I think if we wrap this one up here, because we're going to have Krishna come join 100%. us, and then we'll do another episode there.
Pleasure.
Bro, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Your Instagram will be in the description.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So make sure you check him out as well. Faizal he graphs, but he doesn't do like what I do. I just go overboard in terms of socials.
No. He does it. You do phenomenal. Listen, I say this to all my friends, If one of you opens the door, you open the door for all of us. Do you understand? So at the same time, bro, right now, you're pushing your thing and I'm here to support it 100,000,000%. And if anything that we could do here at Prime FX for you, bro, just shout us and we'll be more than happy to do that.
Honestly, we're going to do some big things, hopefully. There's a lot more networking to be done.
That's it.
But yeah, man, thanks again.
No worries, my boy.
Let's jump on the next one.